Hi, and welcome to our journey from today's full moon to the upcoming new moon. Over the next few minutes, I'll walk you through what the universal energy feels like over the next 15 days, phase by phase, and even day by day, so you can flow with it instead of against it. But first, a little about me. My name is Fa. I'm a reflector, and in my birth chart, the moon plays a big role. I've spent much of my life studying how lunar energy shapes us, how it reflects our emotions, our motivation, and our daily lives in ways we don't always see. It's also like a wand that activates other planetary energies. When I began aligning my life with the moon's rhythm, I learned how to better understand and regulate my emotions. It's also deeply tied to our psyche and the collective unconscious, this quiet, unseen force that shapes so much of what we experience. I've devoted my life to exploring this hidden realm, and here, I share what I keep discovering. You'll find my content especially helpful if you have strong water placements in your chart, like a water moon, Cancer rising, or a Cancer stellium. You're a reflector or a projector with a lot of openness in your human design chart, or you're simply curious about the moon's energetic realm, its connection to emotions, the psyche, and the unseen. All right, let's step into our full moon to new moon journey. Over the next 15 days, we're going to move through 5 major moon phases. Right now, as I'm recording this, we're in the energy of the full moon in the sign of Aquarius. After August 9th, the moon begins to wane. That's when its light starts decreasing. And on August 16th, we'll reach the half moon, also known as the last quarter moon. From there, the moon continues to wane, and both the moon and we will move into the fresh energy of the new moon. Now, let's talk about the feel of these phases. Astrologically, the full moon is when the sun and moon are in opposition, sitting directly across from each other in the sky. I like to imagine them at opposite ends of a long conference table, having an important meeting, reviewing what's been created in the last cycle. It's like they're going through a slideshow of everything that's been manifested. These two luminaries, the bosses of our solar system, play a huge role in shaping how we manifest universal energy. But, of course, they don't make decisions alone. They consult with all the other shareholders: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, the asteroids, the whole cosmic boardroom. In the days after the full moon, these bosses keep reviewing the cycle's reports, reflecting on what went well, what needs adjusting, and what's ready to change. By the time we reach the last quarter moon, the sun and moon form a square, a 90-degree angle, and they're confronting each other again, this time about what's been learned since the big illumination of the full moon. Now, both the first quarter and the last quarter are moon-sun squares, so they carry tension, but they feel very different. The first quarter square brings action tension, that friction that pushes us forward, building momentum to create and complete. The last quarter square brings release tension, the friction that helps us let go, clear the space, and prepare for the new. After the last quarter, we enter the waning crescent, a deeply introspective time for releasing, reflecting, and allowing things to fade away. And then, on August 23rd, we step into the new moon in Virgo, the fertile ground where we can plant the seeds of our desires and intentions for the cycle ahead. Today's full moon is in Aquarius. The full moon is a time when something we've been manifesting comes into the light. A seed that was planted in the past has grown, and now it's in full bloom. This seed might not be from the last new moon. It could be a wish, a thought, a feeling, a karmic balancing planted months, years, or even generations ago. The full moon energy is intense, especially in the build-up beforehand. That's why you might feel more restless on August 8th, or even during the week leading up to it, than on the actual full moon day, August 9th. It's like the tension before the climax of a movie, or the peak of an orgasm. The peak full moon energy on the 9th is a release, a celebration, a completion. It could also be a truth coming to light, sometimes painful, a turning point. No matter what's been illuminated for you, this is a time for gratitude. Because this full moon is happening in Aquarius, themes related to Aquarius may come up. Are you living your true life? Have you been thinking about your connection to humanity lately? Has anything come to fruition related to your community or friends? Have you made changes to create more freedom or to break free? Pluto is also in Aquarius now, in its early degrees, so change and transformation could be big topics. Have you been making drastic changes and now starting to see results? Is your relationship to power and authority shifting? Maybe through some struggles? What comes to light for you also depends on where Aquarius falls in your birth chart and whether you have planets in that house. For example, if you're an Aquarius sun, this full moon might bring up things about how you define yourself, how you connect with others, or what you see as your life's purpose. If you have Venus in Aquarius, matters of the heart might come into focus during this time. Have you gained a new love? Or maybe you're releasing your binding to a love that you thought is yours. The full moon is not a time for action, it's a time for reflection. It's a moment to appreciate what's been manifested or to recognize what's ready to be released. It's not the best time to start something new. Many astrologers even recommend avoiding major surgeries during this energy because it can be intense. If this full moon has brought up emotions like grudges, guilt, anger, or rage, it's a good practice to simply feel them without rushing into any actions. All emotions are our guides. I don't believe in labeling emotions as negative. They only become harmful when we act on them blindly. Often, these so-called negative emotions are some of the most important guides in our lives, showing us what's no longer working, what needs to change, how we can transform ourselves, how to relate differently to others, and what new identities might serve us better. Magic is really a symbolic language. It's how we communicate with our subconscious and unconscious mind. It's the bridge between what we consciously experience and those hidden parts of ourselves that are harder to reach. Our mind works in layers. The one we use every day is the conscious mind, easy to access, logical, practical, even emotional. But there are deeper layers that we usually only touch in dreams, in meditation, or in those in-between moments when the mind is quiet. And those layers, they're powerful. We're also all plugged into a collective energetic realm, something Carl Jung called the collective unconscious. This space holds so much power to shape our lives that sometimes when we tap into it, it feels like fate. Here's the thing. Words alone don't always reach those hidden parts. The signal between the conscious mind and the higher mind can be fuzzy. But the higher mind, it responds instantly to symbols, gestures, visuals, movement, all the ancient forms of expression that came long before spoken language. That's why these practices feel like magic. With the full moon especially, this language becomes even more powerful. Full moon energy is perfect for release rituals, cord cutting, and letting go of what's been weighing you down. And because this full moon is in Aquarius, the theme of freedom is strongly supported by universal energy. Full moons are also wonderful for making moon water or charging crystals, activating and storing this potent lunar energy. Remember, the moon is like the wand in our cosmic toolkit. What do wands do in magic? It activates a spell. Just like that, the moon energy can activate our desires, our thoughts, our truth. Over time, I've also discovered how powerful dance can be in magical work. Imagine the universe is deaf, but you want its attention. So you speak with your body. Hand gestures, dance movements, your own sign language, all of these become your way of showing the universe exactly what you want. If you're journaling during this full moon, focus on gratitude. And not just for what you already have. Write gratitude for the things you're calling in, even if they haven't fully shown up yet. And finally, give yourself time to relax. An Epsom salt bath is perfect for this. Let the water cleanse, soothe, and carry away whatever you're ready to release. After the full moon, we move into the waning moon energy, a time of winding down. The full moon brings so much intensity, and after that peak, we need some downtime. If the full moon was the orgasm, it's time for aftercare. This is the phase for reflection, introspection, and release. As we let go and create space, the universe begins to send us little hints about what we truly desire, what we want to do next, what needs to change, and who we're ready to become. That's why the time between the full moon and the new moon is such a deeply spiritual period. It's a time for downloads, messages rising from the depths. To receive them, we need stillness. We need to conserve our energy, because as our energetic field is being weeded and fertilized, we'll soon be asked to plant the seeds of our desires during the upcoming new moon in Virgo. Now, because this new moon will be in Virgo, you may notice Virgo themes showing up in your life during this waning period. Things like health, the body, illness or healing, generational trauma stored in the mind and body, karmic ties, discernment, accountability, organization, and attention to detail. It's also worth looking at where Virgo falls in your birth chart and what planets you have there. Those placements will shape the personal themes that surface for you now. They'll plant quiet intentions in your heart, ready to be set when the new moon arrives. The most important guidance for this phase? Listen to your body. I want to give you a day-by-day look at the next 15 days, almost like a moon map, showing which sign the moon will be in and the major aspects it's making each day. Something interesting I've noticed is how the moon makes a square to Uranus right after the full moon. And then the next exact square to Uranus happens on the new moon. To me, that tells me the coming days are going to amplify themes of freedom, authenticity, and possibly power dynamics. The upcoming new moon will be laced with Uranian energy, the unpredictable. This is the kind of energy that pushes us to free ourselves, our bodies, our health, even our mental health, from old traumas, outdated patterns, and anything that no longer serves us. With Uranus, we can expect the unexpected. In fact, this time we want the unexpected. Just enough to shake things up so we can start fresh. Look at where Virgo and Aquarius fall in your birth chart. Those are the areas where you might feel the pressure to reinvent yourself. Collectively, I see some days looking smoother than others. August 11th seems like one of those days when the external energy is gentle on us, making it easier to get things done. Mercury also goes direct that day, which is good news. But remember, it's still in its post-Mercury retrograde shadow period, so be mindful with communication, pay attention to details, and be patient with any delays. On August 12th, we might feel less grounded and more in our heads, followed by some rough energy on the 13th and 14th. Let's be mindful of that, and try to get important things done earlier, or ride the wave until it's over by 14th, when the energy will be flowing more smoothly again. Right after this bump in the road, we'll have a couple of days of relief. However, we might hit another rough patch on August 18th and 19th. Then, right before the new moon, on the 20th and 21st, we could feel another intense surge of energy that might pull us more into our heads than into our bodies. These fuzzy days could be when our mind is busy downloading messages from the universe. It's possibly giving us hints about our new moon desires. For an even clearer picture, check your natal moon aspects each day. That will layer your personal energy over the collective one. If you're highly sensitive, a reflector, or someone who feels lunar energy deeply, these intense days might feel overwhelming. Mark the bumpy days on your calendar and be extra gentle with yourself. Avoid making sudden changes. Remember, we're still in the shadow period of the moon. It's not a time for major action. Observe, but don't absorb. That's the mantra to remember for the next 15 days. Thanks so much for watching and joining me on this journey from full moon to new moon. I hope this helps you flow more smoothly with the energy coming your way. I'll be posting the next journey, from new moon to full moon, closer to the new moon on August 23rd, so stay tuned for that. If you want the detailed 15-day moon map and the full presentation, you can download them anytime on my Patreon page.